have a comment on this one, and I haven't even heard the clip, but just that initial thought's fascinating. All right, I'm gonna shift to. Oop, damn, I almost ended the live. I'm gonna shift to the Joe Budden clip now. Wow. And this is a very popular podcast for folks who aren't familiar. Joe Budden was one of my favorite rappers of all time back in the day.
And you're saying you think
now he's a podcaster. So this happened, I'm assuming, what? This year? Probably. Oh, damn. This happened like a couple days ago.
Nope.
Oh, this is fresh off the press. Okay, well, we're gonna see what the fallout, if any, is from this situation. But here's the clip.
That's Karen.
I think that we pick and choose what things are important to us, and we stand on that. I think that niggas running a drug enterprise next door is cool, but yes.
Come on. Why does everybody? I never understood that expression. Pick and choose. Yes, we pick and choose.
Ish from the Joe Budden Podcast finds himself in hot water after making some really crazy comments about looking people up on the registry list. So on a recent episode of the podcast, they were having a conversation about whether it's okay to report your neighbors and whatnot. And the topic of the registry list for offenders was instituted. And as a result, Ish would kind of take this street cold position that you shouldn't be looking up the registry and that it's Karen-like behavior. Now, I believe what Ish was trying to do was he was trying to wake up how Joe Budden was in a simple.
I hate when people do that. Like, the person says something, let them explain what they were trying to do. I hate when people do. I don't know why people do that, especially in this case where it's very like cloudy so far. And just the little snippet I heard, I'm a little confused about what he was trying to say. It wasn't that clear. But I hate when people do that type of stuff. But so take that for what it's worth.
Similar situation when he went out into his hallway. Remember the incident in December last year? I think that's what he was trying to get at, but he couldn't get there because he didn't want to wake it up, nor did he have the range of discussion to be able to introduce it in a way that was.
If he doesn't have the range of discussion, why discuss it? Right? That's not an excuse. I don't think that's a good excuse either from this content creator.
It's not.
You should not be, first of all, assuming what someone was trying to say. Let them defend themselves. And then secondly, I wouldn't recommend that you say somebody doesn't have the depth or the capacity to cover a topic, then you probably should talk about that topic, which is why I am shutting up most of this podcast series and let you lead because you have way more depth than I do. And I'll just chime in from time to time. But this is even interesting how he's covering this.
So he made a heavy-handed statement, and now he looks crazy because a lot of the blogs would pick it up, like Neighborhood Talk and other message boards, who had an issue with him even trying to go this route. Now, one of the issues with podcasting nowadays is that they try to do the street code thing to every single subject, and I think that's what Ish was trying to get at. Is like, oh, you just gotta you gotta police your way. You don't bring the police involved. You run, you're part of a neighborhood. There's no need to get the authorities alerted and all that type of stuff. But it landed really bad, so much so that even members of the cast would get at Ish, noting, hey, this is wild. You can't compare, somebody dealing drugs to somebody hurting kids. And the biggest proponent of that was Mark Lamont Hill. So the rest of the cast just wasn't feeling it. Even Ice was like, yo, you crazy dog. What are you doing right now? You're horribly misinformed. So that's how that went. But one key point that was really interesting is how Joe Budden was able to set Ish up for a topic. He said, no, I wanted to hear what Ish's thoughts are. And he knew what he was doing. So this is some insight into how Joe Budden is able to engineer moments on the show. He essentially knows already on it because he doesn't. Now it was totally her.
I'm trying to see if they're going to let them talk.
Then set him up.
No, I think he's just talking. Oh man, what the hell? All right. I would love to have a clip of him actually commenting. But yeah. Any other thoughts on this issue?
I just wanted to bring that up, man, because that was wild.
So we gotta go.
Maybe I can grab it from X. Let me see.
I do want y'all to be aware of what happened with Iraq and the law that passed, lowering the legal age of marriage for girls from 18 to 9.
Wait. I'm trying to look for one thing and listen at the same time. So tell us more. When did this happen? And tell us a little bit more.
This happened essentially last week, but obviously it got made public this week. And essentially, it's a new law that the parliament approved, amendments allowing girls as young as 9 to be married. And it overturns their decades of progress under the 1959 Personal Status Law, which protected women's rights and set the legal age of marriage at 18. Human rights groups are warning that it opens the door to abuse and strips away critical protections like divorce and inheritance. And the rights of these little girls, I mean, clearly are being taken away. This isn't the only country that's done this. I forgot, it was like last year I was posting something else that had happened. Oh, I don't remember the country, but they also lowered that age to around this also. And I remember it was going through basically their version of Congress. And once the House passed the first one, which was dominantly men, then the second House passed the second one, which was dominantly men. And then the third one was all men. So you knew it was getting passed.
Mm-hmm.
And it got passed. So that also went from 18 to, it was either 8 or 9. But still.
Wow.
Time to move. Tell that family to move away.
But where to? That's the question. We're uncovering all this is kind of even hard to determine where to go. But I did get the clip. You want me to roll the clip?
Go for it.
All right, perfect.
Sorry, all that shit. But isn't the list like, can't you go on the list and just
No, you put in your address and it'll show you.
It shows you a map.
Yeah, it's a Megan's Law list.
all the registered people
Yo,
in the
remember
neighborhood.
the Not Like Us cover?
Yes, it was that.
It was that.
of that?
Yes,
That's what
exactly
comes
what
up.
it looked like, Joe.
You put your
And you saying you think that's Karen shit?
How?
Why?
No, ish.
I don't know. I ain't no
Fuck
care.
that.
Just let him answer the why.
I'm good, bro.
I gotta hear this.
I'm cool. That's my opinion, bro. I think that we pick and choose what things are important to us and we stand on that. I think that niggas running a drug enterprise next door is cool, but
Yes.
Bro, come
Why
on.
does everybody? I never understood that expression. Pick and choose. Yes, we pick and choose.
Like,
If my
what?
neighbor's selling weed, I don't care. If he's molesting kids, I care because I got kids.
Period. I care.
You're not calling.
bro.
To be clear, we're not calling the police on him.
I'm not doing
I'm saying
nothing.
if he's a registered sex offender, I want to know so I don't. When you trick or treating, don't go to his house. That's not Karen shit. I'm not snitching. He's
Wow.
sorry.
I'm confused on what Ish was saying, period. I don't think either one of his points made any sense.
He do.
Am I tripping?
And he said it nonchalantly. He said, it is what it is. That's how his whole demeanor is.
I don't think any of that shit was good. Honestly, like if somebody's running a drug empire next to you, whether it's weed or not, that's some shit you probably want to know about because that's going to bring harm to your dwelling. If it's a sex offender in your neighborhood, you probably want to know about that too because you want to protect not just your children, but probably the other children that live in the neighborhood. Now, again, we don't know the extent of their abuse unless you look it up, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that you don't call the police on them.